Right, YouTubers, I'm finally going to show you, if I have time, which ain't going to be easy on me, and I will do a water change. The first thing I do is test the salt. It's coming at 25, as these two here, look. They've both got the heaters in, they're both heated up, they've come in at 25. So there's 50 litres there. I will now put 5 grams of Red Sea ABC Plus. That's calcium, magnesium, KH, and most of the trace elements like potassium, iodine, bromium, strontium, and all that. Yeah, it's all in one. Yeah, you're looking at over £100 for that tub, but you know, it is a 5 kilo tub, like, so I've had it a good couple of years now, so it's been worth the money. But lucky enough, I got it for nothing. Yes, it was a nice one. I got it came with the mistress, to be fair. Here's my 2 tubs that are both empty, and I've got it set up. I've emptied here at the moment because to put my extension in. And what I'm going to do is I'll put that powder in them in a minute, because they're a bit lower than my tank. My tank salt is at 24, they're at 25, which 50 litres, I mean I could drop it to 24, but 25, 50 litres going into the mistress at 24, it's going to make no difference. But I do add all that into these because I know I've tested them, they're rather lower. Here's me tub of all sorts of junk, and this here is what's going to go into my sump. Put that into my sump, and on my return side here, just let me move these out of the way. I should have been a bit more organised, but what I'll do is in a minute I'll turn everything off, it'll raise up to the top, I will put that pump in here and a pipe into one of these, pump it in. I don't touch that, I don't turn the wave makers off or nothing, they don't even know it's happening. Obviously the skim will go off, the reactor will go off, and that will go off, right? But then it'll be pumped out, 2 tubs out, switch it off, and then I will show you in the next part how I pump it all back in. But the first thing you do, always turn your auto top off, unplug it, because obviously if you're going to empty water out of there, you don't want that messing around. You want that off. That'll be switched on after everything's done. I know the water's going to raise, but I'm going to empty it down to the bottom, and I don't want that filling it back up with normal water, RO, do I? So first thing is you turn off your auto top up, and then I'll show you in a minute, because I'm on my own, so I can't do everything and let you see it, but you don't want to be bored watching water get pumped up. So what I'm going to do is, they're at temperature now. I'm going to put 5 grams in each tub of that, shake it around, and then I'm going to empty these into here. I'll show you what I'm on about, and then I'll carry on from there. Okay? Right. The sump has now been switched off. You can hear it draining. As you can see, the tank is on. Wave makers, fish don't know what's happening. Bless them. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Look, they ain't got a clue what's going on, right? But as you can see, that pump now, everything's been switched off. Skimmer, phosphate reactor, everything, return pump, all off. Auto top up off. The pump is going into this tub, look, and it's filling it up. Then when it's right to the top, basically, I swap the pipe over and I put it into that one, and that'll be the 50 litres out of here, right, in this end. Not here, or well, definitely not in the middle part where the refusion is, because I'm going to suck all the livestock out of it, and the last thing I want to do is disturb that. My little tub that I keep over this side to keep it clean, just look how clean it is in there. Look at that reactor, white, you know, everything, spotless. Look at the floor, you can even see the bottom in blue. You know what I mean, look, the blue bottom, see? Because no light, no algae, no life. Excellent, you know? What I have got in here at the moment is one of my sea urchins. I've got 2. One's still in there because I can't find him at the minute. And when I do see him, I can't get to him. But the next time I see him on a power head or on the glass, he's coming out as well. I've put one in here. Because the bulldozers, they'll be knocking corals off like that. Zoe there. It's not looking the best because it's been knocked over again, and I don't want it landing on anything like this here. I have glued my blasto to a rock because it was getting knocked about, but it's a lot happier now it's on a rock. So anyway, I'll put my sea urchin in here because one, there's not a lot of food in there now because everything's spotless. Two, it's a bulldozer. And now it's time for it can eat as much as it wants in there. You know, start cleaning up the sump for me. So now I've got another little sea urchin in there. He's around somewhere, I saw him last night. And he's ever so colourful, so he's enjoying the food in there. Now these sponges here are in here, and this baffle here, because I don't want nothing going through this baffle and coming out this side, if you know what I mean, and into there. So they're there to stop anything getting into the clean part section, you know, well mainly, or you get the odd cocopod or something getting through, because they're tiny, aren't they? But I will take them out now, put them in this tub, and give them sponges a clean, then they'll go back in, yeah? So that's what's happening. Right, as we can see, the water is getting rather nearer the top now, very close to the top actually, but I have got a towel down. And it looks like it's going to go any second now. So that's that one done. And then I'll put a lid on that. And that will be moved out the way. Right, I will pause the video and get back to you when it's time to put the water back in. Right, now them two are both full. The sponges are out in the black tub. They're in my kitchen. I've actually cleaned the skimmer, look, and now that pump that was in the sump is now in this bucket, look. Just a standard basic power head, you know. You can have two ways on it. I mean, that one in there's got two on it, look. That one blows this way and that way, and that's got an air pipe on it to put oxygen into me refusion, but I'm losing my cocopods slightly. I'm not getting as many as I liked. And I've got a feeling that pump's sucking them up into it, blowing them back out, and it's not doing them any favours. So I've actually switched it off today, and I'm going to leave it off for a month just to see if it does improve my livestock in my refusion. Because don't get me wrong, the cheetah grows like a bugger. Every 4 weeks am I ripping 3/4 of it out. I mean, I've got every colour algae growing in there, sponges, look at it all. Look at all the different colours. I've got everything growing in there. So this is getting rather low, so then I'll top it up with this tub here, keep topping it up until both 50 litres have gone into the sump, okay? Right, I'm on the second bucket going in, look, you can see it flowing in, but the thing is what I do with this pipe, I put a peg on it, don't know if you can see it, I put a peg on the underneath, here, look, there's a peg, so the pipe cannot come out, you know, blow out and start, well, you know, flooding the living room. Just a little safety caution, like, you know, because it's happened before. So, you know, the power of it going through, a bit like a nose pipe, it can start wafting about a little bit, and or it can fall out and that, so there's a peg on there so that doesn't happen. But I do advise you don't leave things alone, especially when you're emptying the sump. Don't answer the phone, don't go in the kitchen to get yourself a drink thinking, oh, well, it takes 2 minutes to fill up, because I guarantee you will make a mistake and forget. You lay water. I've done it before. I've come in and my floor, 5 or 6 litres on my floor, the missus weren't happy. I mean, I keep a towel down low, just in case of the odd splash and that, you know. And we'll keep it well away from here. But like I say, I've got half of this tub left, and then that's the water gone in. Then the sponges will be cleaned and put back in. Then the machine will be cycled. But I'll actually put, because them tubs I've took out are about 20 litre tubs and these are 25, I'm actually putting more in than I take out. But with that tub in there, that black tray, there's about 3 or 4 litres gone in there to clean the sponges, which I'll do in a minute. So then, of course, when I switch the skimmer around the reactor on, they're going to suck water up as well. But my line is about here. And as you can see, it's here already, but it hasn't switched on yet. It will come right to the top. But I won't be able to get it all in. So I switch the tank on, let it start cycling, and then I'll have about 2 or 3 litres left over, and I'll pour in there as well. So that line there, where the auto top-up kicks in, it'll come up to about here. And people say, well, why are you adding more? But I'll add more because it's more fresh salt water, and I'll let it run round for about 10 minutes. Then I'll take a few litres out, switch my auto top up on until I hear it kick in. I could really have it up a bit higher, but I've set it there. And I know when everything switches off, it comes to that black line. All right, I could have another inch, but safety measures. And you're thinking, well, you could have had another 5 or 6 litres in your sump, you know, but 5 or 6 litres, yeah, I could lift up the auto top up, but the skimmer's set to that height, everything's set to that height. And so I'll just keep it there. But when I switch it on, the water will be about this high when it's running. And then, like I say, I'll let it run. Why throw water away? Because you've got too much of it. Throw it in, let it dilute everything, and then just take some out, you know? And that's what I do. Right, I've got to go. It's starting to empty. Right. Now, all the water is in the sump. The sponges are back in. I always put the sponges in, obviously, before I turn it on, because I don't want everything flowing through, because the water's so high, the algae have flown over the top, so I've got to take it all out and move it to one side, because I have floating algae, but, you know, I see the point. They're in here, they're things to eat for the creatures and the sea urchin and that. It's not just Cheeto, but it's mainly Cheeto, like. But I've got sponges growing in here. Oh man, I've got some sort of thing down there that you've seen on my other videos. It came out and now it's there again on a stalk, growing a new head, like a big mushroom thing there, look. So I'll just leave them, all these different algae, you know, they've all got a purpose and a job. They're growing in here, so I don't see the point in destroying them, but I do take some of the floating soggy stuff out, because it doesn't look nice, like, but some pretty colours. But that's what that sponge is there for, to stop anything going through. Well, 90% of it getting through into this chamber, then going into return. But as you can see, it's going on, it's coming down. It's coming down. So I've just got my last bit of water in here. So I'll drop that into there. Look, there's my parad, look. I think it's a 700. I think it was about 15 quid when I first started up. Didn't know what I was really doing at the time, but you know, you shoved them on a pipe for under gravel filter, to be honest. That's how I saw them in certain shops. But you know, they're a good little thing to have for hoovering, vacuuming, stuff like that, what you can do. Like I said, this has got one pipe on it, which I've just pushed a pipe in it. But you can get them with double ones, you can have little air stones on them, all sorts. Not a bad little thing to have for siphoning. So I've just got to put this into the tank. Now, you know, it's going down, look. So I won't be a minute. Right, sorry this video's been a bit sketchy, but as you can see, that is circulating again now, the mistress. But the fish and the corals don't even know it's happened, because like I said, the wave makers never got turned off. And to be honest, with the gravel, it's only roughly a centimetre thick, to be fair. Alright, it might be deeper in places, but I ain't got that much at the back as well. It's mainly at the front and, you know, just round the sides and that. But occasionally I might give it a little wiggle at each end, and it'll be really cloudy and it'll come up. But I've got a goby in there that goes around munching about and that, and the corals are buried into it and that, so I don't really touch my sand. I ain't got a great deal of it. And like I say, in the ocean bed, you know, it's only the animals that turn it over, you know, and occasionally you get the odd storm that might blow some up near the coast, but like I say, my night rates are basically 0, so, you know, I'm not doing any harm, so I don't really touch my sand. That was one reason I didn't put a lot in, because I didn't want to be vacuuming it, and, you know, doing all that to a tank with corals and fish disturbs things, and there's things living in it, isn't there, and that, you know. So I think leave well alone. Well, it works for me. I'm not saying it'll work for everyone, but I say this, my sand is spotless, look. So why disturb it? You know, if there's good bacteria in the growing in it, or little insects or cocopods in it, why stir them up? So they get sucked out into the overflow? Nah, because I've got 2 mandarins in here, 4 weeks tomorrow, and they're both still alive. Oh, Spike has come to say hello, look. Bless him. Awesome fish. I'd recommend one of them to anyone. I mean, I've got, look, little damsels in here. I mean, that yellowfin chroma has doubled its size since I put him in. I've never seen one with yellowfins like that before. And look at that little chroma there. Tiny little thing. He doesn't bother with them. Proof's in the pudding. Little damsel there, look. Yeah. And he doesn't, because he gets fed on a Wednesday and a Sunday, and he knows what he eats. He has half a silver-side fish, but half the size of him. well, about an inch long, I suppose, and I fill it with pellets for protein for him. And he knows when it's a Wednesday and a Sunday, believe me, he spits water at me. He doesn't annoy the corals, he keeps himself to himself. Excellent. Right, like I say, all the water's in now, it's running. And like I say, hey, not too bad actually. I took quite a bit out today. It's only an inch, roughly an inch above where it should be. So I'll give it about 10 minutes. Then I'll test my water, the salt, to see if it, because I keep mine at 24. People say, well, that's a bit low. Why is it? It's better for the fish. The corals love it. 24, if it goes to 25, fair enough. People keep it at 25 and it goes to 26. I'm just thinking, why put all that stress on the fish? Because when I started this hobby and it was fish only, you kept your salt at 21. You know what I mean? And if it got to 24, it was in the danger level on them floaty gauge things that you put water in. Do you remember them? Hydrometer. 24, it was going in the danger zone. Nowadays, because of corals, but fish and corals have been together for thousands of years. Everyone has different methods. One time you kept your salt, your temperature down at 24, 25. Now some people keep it, I keep mine at 25.9, 25.8. It's set at 26, but it always seems to stable out there with my temperature controller, so that is stable. My salt stays roughly, like I said, 24. And to be honest, I think 24 is perfect. It's better for the fish. Remember, the lower the salt, the better it's a white spot, but touch wood, the mistress is over 2 years old and I have not had one single white spot in this tank. I know I'm the blind reefer, but I have not seen a white spot on Doreen, anything, you know what I mean? My fox face, nothing. Never seen a white spot, never had white spot. I've had an algae out bloom, but I sorted that with that refugium and that hydroponic light, you know? Unbelievable, that light, best thing I bought. And like I say, it all grows in there now. Like I say, look at the rocks. Everything is just white. Look at that Montipora. Just growing a tree. And like I said, that was dead for 2 years, that one. And look at it now. Elegance coral, there you go. Not an easy coral to keep, that. Beautiful thing to have though. Me blasto, me maize, you know. Look at you, me Philia garden. And me look at me two-tone bubble. And look, see? 3 anemones, they moved up. The missus is devil's finger. Funny aquapora that though, but it made me laugh. But hey, it's looking okay. You know, me clam, me Duncan, me torches. My zoas are just going mental. Me 2 carpets, recordias to you lot. You know what I mean? And like I said, me pulsing coral and me watery mushrooms, when I cut them off, I didn't even want them in this tank, but they've grown back. So them I've had over 5 years. That brown one there, recordia, I've had over 5 years. God, that could be 6. And then I've had about the same, you know. That, even though it was dead for over 2 years, 2 years in here, 3 years, yeah, that could be about 5 years and all, even though it's been dead for about 2 or 3 of them. God, I don't know. But there you go. That's how the mistress has a water change. So what I'll do now is, I will test the salt, make sure it's at 24, I'll reconnect my auto top up, I'll switch my skimmer on when it gets nearer the line, because it's set, I don't want it over going up. So I'll put the skimmer on in a minute, watch it, take a pint out, obviously switch my auto top up, and I'll take water out until I see that kick in, and as it kicks in, I'll pour the water back in, you know, a little bit to stop it. And then that's it, and then I'll give it about half an hour, and I'll test my calcium, magnesium and KH, because I only do a water change once a month because my nitrates are so low. You know, it basically just looks after itself now. And this is what I'm saying to people: learn your tank, learn how it copes. Why do water changes if you don't need to? All you're doing is throwing your balance of your water out and messing things about. You know what I mean? This uses about, God, it's got to be 8 litres of evaporation a day. You know what I mean? Anything from 6 to 8, depending on the weather. So it's getting fresh water going in it. You know what I mean? I mean, one day last week, it was taking a litre every 2 hours. So it was half a litre an hour it was taking in one day. Yeah, it did about 4 litres in 8 hours. I thought, what? I thought I had a leak, but I never. It was just, you know, hot day. So I keep the window open. But this is a cool room, this. The temperature never goes above that, like. Look, there it is, 25.9. Perfect. So there you go. Goodbye.